Hello, my brothers. Today, I'm going to tell you about how, for half a century, the S-Class has embodied the quintessence of a luxury sedan, setting benchmarks in comfort, design, and technology, becoming more refined and advanced with each generation. It was with the 116th S-Class that Mercedes introduced a new model designation system starting with the S-Class, followed by the E-Class and C-Class. For many enthusiasts, the legendary 140th S-Class is considered the best of all time. However, between the first and third generations, there was the equally legendary W126, produced in the 80s, though it was designed in the 70s and remained in production until 1991. Importantly, this was the first S-Class created under the guidance and direct involvement of Bruno Sacco, who led Mercedes design for a quarter of a century. Today, we'll reminisce about why the 126th also deserves to be called the best S-Class, rightfully earning a spot on the podium. The first generation S-Class was a culmination of the engineers' and designers' efforts, as the car, despite its size, looked elegant and was not only comfortable but also exceptionally safe for its time. This was achieved through experiments and research, culminating in the Mercedes ESF22 concept, which became the precursor to the S-Class. Features like crumple zones at the front and rear, energy-absorbing structures, a new chassis, the first turbo diesel engine in a passenger car, optional cruise control in 1975, and the world's first optional anti-lock braking system, ABS, in 1978 made the W116 one of the most technologically advanced luxury cars of the 70s. It even won the European Car of the Year award in 1974 in its 450cc variant, a feat unmatched by any other luxury sedan since. Thus, from the very beginning, the first S-Class set incredibly high standards, which its successor had to meet and surpass. Work on the second generation S-Class began in 1973, even as the 116th was still in production. The final exterior design was approved in 1976. Bruno Sacco, a design genius, made the flagship sedan not just modern and attractive but also aesthetically stunning, with clean lines and a perfect balance between elegance and solidity. Unlike the boxy W116, the 126th was more substantial without appearing overly heavy, a trait that would later characterize the 140th. The classic Mercedes front end, with its large chrome grille and block headlights, suited the car's linear dimensions perfectly. Despite the three-volume design, the body appeared smooth, without sharp transitions. In 1980, when the W126 debuted, it stunned contemporaries with its conservative yet modern appearance. Sacco, not yet 50, was at the peak of his career, and his inspiration for the new flagship also influenced the design of the baby Benz W201. Compared to its predecessor, the W126's wheelbase grew from 2,865 mm to 2,935 mm, improving proportions and visual appeal. The long wheelbase cell version had a wheelbase of 3,075 mm, enough to fit a smart 4x4. The car was also aerodynamically efficient, with a drag coefficient of 0.36, compared to 0.41 for the W116. In 1981, the legendary SEC Coupe debuted, with a shorter wheelbase and an even sleeker design, CD equals 0.34. The S-Class lineup included 8 versions, Standard and long wheelbase models with 3 gasoline engines and 1 diesel 280S/SE/cell, 380 SE/cell, 500 SE/cell, and 300 SD/SDL. The long wheelbase version had a different internal code, V126. Interestingly, the W126 debuted a few years after the BMW E237 series, making it younger and more modern. However, by 1987, the new BMW 7 Series posed a challenge, especially with its 12-cylinder engine, while the W126 only offered a V8. This changed in 1991 with the introduction of the 600 cell. The second-generation S-Class continued its predecessor's focus on safety, becoming the first car to pass an offset crash test, a far more rigorous test than the frontal crash tests of the time. It provided reliable protection for occupants at city speeds up to 60 km per hour. While European market cars often came in basic trims, optional features included power windows, mirrors, seats, and even a steering column, along with automatic climate control and high-quality wood and leather interiors. In 1981, driver airbags and seat belt protectors were introduced, with passenger airbags added after the 1985 facelift. The W126 was one of the safest and most well-equipped cars of its time, also offering ABS and optional traction control, TCS. The dashboard featured 38 buttons, including controls for the radio, climate, lighting, sunroof, and more. The engine range was diverse, starting with a 2.8-liter inline-six M110, and including V8s like the 3.8-liter M116 and 5.0-liter M117. For North America, there was a 3.0-liter turbo diesel, OM617. After the 1985 update, the lineup was revised, with engines like the 2.6-liter M103, 3.0-liter M103, 4.2-liter M116, and 5.0 and 5.5-liter M117 V8s. A 3.5-liter turbo diesel, OM603, was also added for North America. The base 2.8-liter engine produced 154 horsepower, allowing the car to reach 100 km per hour in 11 seconds and a top speed of 200 km per hour. More powerful versions could reach 205 to 229 km per hour, with the 300 horsepower 5.5-liter V8 achieving 0 to 100 km per hour in 6.9 seconds and an electronically limited top speed of 250 km per hour. Diesel versions were slower, with the 300 SD taking 15 seconds to reach 100 km per hour. To ensure a smooth ride, the W126 initially offered a hydro-pneumatic suspension, later replaced by the HPF2 and HPF3 systems, which adjusted stiffness and ride height based on speed and conditions. This made the W126 feel like it was gliding over the road, a stark contrast to the cars being produced in the USSR at the time, like the VES 2108 and GAZ 2410. The S-Class was quiet, comfortable, and fast, especially with the V8 engines, making it a king of the Autobahn. In a 1990 comparison test by Car and Driver, the 560 cell came in second, behind the BMW 750iL but ahead of the Lexus LS 400 and Bentley Turbo R. The W126, by then 11 years old, still held its own against newer competitors. The W126 was a market success, with over 890,000 units sold during its 12-year production run, the longest of any S-Class. It became the best-selling luxury car of its time, earning the nickname Chic Mobile and topping JD Power rankings from 1987 to 1990. In 1981, Wheels magazine named the 380 SE Car of the Year. For many, the W126 isn't just the car of the year or decade but the best car of all time. Bruno Sacco created a visual masterpiece that was also an engineering marvel, setting a standard that continues to define the S-Class as the best even 45 years later. Thank you all for watching. Brothers, you are my favorites. Be sure to like and subscribe to my cool YouTube channel.